Welcome to Average Joe's 2018 E3 wrap-up, and hold on to your nutsacks and or labial folds because it's going to be a long one. 8 conferences were lined up for the publishers to show off their latest collections of Battle Royale cash grabs, open world sandboxes and sequels to games which should have died 10 years ago, and a gaggle of overly excitable mind slaves were waiting in the wings to show us what they'd got before being packed back into cold storage for another year. In this video I'm going to give a rundown on everything that happened in each of those conferences and my personal take on what we saw. As I speak, I haven't actually seen any of them, and I have to admit I'm a little excited. Let's find out just how brutally that excitement is going to be smothered back into aimless pessimism, shall we? Let us start at the very beginning, for, as a wise woman once said, it is a very good place to start. The internet's favourite whipping boy and shareholders' favourite pot of gold, EA, went first this year, opening with a 3D spectacle which, despite looking very impressive to us at home, was almost certainly lost on the people in the conference room who were forced to applaud politely while invisible mech men hovered over their heads. The first thing they paraded out like the corpse of a defeated tyrant was Battlefield 5, a game which, to its credit, looked pretty fun to me, but that's probably just because I've come full circle with the overexposure to brown military shooters, and after 10 years of ignoring them completely, I might finally be ready to be teabagged by a 14-year-old Brazilian boy again. Don't take that out of context. The friendly Scandinavian fellows announced this.
No loot boxes, no premium pass.
Which I think we were all meant to be thankful for. What? You're not actively trying to shit in our mouths? Well, thank you, merciful leaders. Let us lick your feet clean. They then announced this.
It's Royale.
Which, well, it was expected, wasn't it? Not trying to get a slice of the PUBG pie right now seems about as financially sensible as investing in Ask Jeeves. They then showed us FIFA and I slipped briefly into a coma. I'm sure some people cared, and good for you if you did, but god damn, these games all look the same. It didn't even look that visually impressive. Like, the players looked like a set of waxwork simulacrums. Although to be fair, that's probably actually pretty accurate giving the pro footballer look right now. Next, the CEO came out and talked about Origin. It boggles the mind that they think people still give a shit. EA, you can't compete with Steam. Please just give up and get help. You're only hurting yourself. Then the most awkward conversation in the world happened.
The internet is going wild right now.
I hope so. So the Star Wars name is Jedi Fallen Order.
Woo! So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you some idea that you'll be playing a Jedi.
So does that mean I get to like hold a lightsaber?
Yes.
This guy clearly loves what he does, but he was just emitting waves of autism here, and the chick interviewing him.
Renee, and while you might recognize me...
Yeah, sure, her. She needs to work on feigning enthusiasm. Speaking of Star Wars, here's the Battlefront guys admitting that they suck again.
And clearly we didn't get it quite right.
Remember when they said they fucked up the first one and had to do better? Well, now they're saying the same thing about the second one. How many tries do you guys need? Are you professional game developers or a 3-year-old learning to write your name? Well, what have you got for us this time?
A new large-scale multiplayer sandbox experience.
Oh, for fuck's sake. This face just says it all. Oh, what's this? Okay, you've got my attention. I never played Unravel, but I always thought it looked cool. And this sequel, it kinda looks fucking gorgeous.
In Unravel, we used yarn to symbolize love and the bonds between people. In our new game, we tear that bond up right at the start. You lose everything, including your spark. But when things are at their darkest, you find hope.
Okay, calm down there, mate. You had my interest, but I didn't ask for a thesis. Seriously though, this looks fun. Kinda like someone took Trine and completely fucking drowned it in whimsy. And monster turkeys. Whimsy and monster turkeys. What more could you need? Next is something called Sea of Solitude and this hyperventilating woman.
Thank you, Patrick.
She was rocking a Kraftwerk tee though, so I sort of zoned out with the model playing in my head. Also, she said something about turning emotions into bellends.
The goal is to bring all those emotions into balance.
But while I was chuckling at that, she started playing the trailer and it looked pretty good. I'm a big fan of emotive, narrative-heavy games, and this seems to be ticking those boxes, so I'll be keeping an eye out for Sad Girl Boat Simulator. NBA and Madden then got some time, and again, sports, bleh. They paraded this kid out with his WWE Championship belt, and I assumed that was somehow relevant. I don't know, I was just waiting for someone to hit him with a steel chair. And then just when I thought I couldn't care any less, they started talking about some Command & Conquer Clash Royale knockoff thing. They genuinely hyped this up like it was some monstrous competitive strategy game, when in reality it looked like a B-Tech Advance Wars.
That are fueled by skill and strategy.
Sure thing, bro. Oh, here comes our mate, the super rich CEO.
Know that we want to be better and that we want to make great games. And that as much as we love making games,
we prefer making money. Sorry, all this self-fellatio was getting a bit much for me there.
We contributed a total of $1 million to 3 charities that share our vision for a more inclusive world.
Well done, mate. Now, can you stop patting your own back and show us some fucking games, please?
The anthem is all that remains.
There's a storm coming.
Nice cliche there.
These walls can't protect us forever.
Something is out there. It wants to destroy us all.
Nice cliche there. Oh god, Muse, is there anything you're not the soundtrack to?
How cool was that trailer? You guys
Calm down, love. It was okay. I'm kind of blowing hot and cold on this one. They can put together a spectacle, but I'm pretty sure it's just Destiny with jetpacks. Like, I enjoy BioWare stuff, but they need to do more to sell this to me. They prattled on about this game for a while, but until I play it myself, I won't be able to shake the doubts that this will just be a boring pseudo-MMO with a bland story that goes nowhere to propagate the DLC expansion cycle and a yawn-worthy shoot-and-loot grind for a core gameplay loop. I won't allow myself any optimism until these guys can prove that they're not.
Massive tools.
So Microsoft have opted not to open with some fancy pants 3D fuckery and instead an actual game, so they're beating EA right off the bat. What is this? Some sort of Stargate game? Oh, for fuck's sake. Halo 7? Really? Can it just stop? Oh wait, I was wrong. It's actually Halo Infinity. Seems they missed a few numbers, but we won't hold it against them since they've already made more Halo games than there are grains of sand on the planet, and it's probably quite difficult to count that high. Here's the big man. Look at that weirdly uniformed crowd go. Looks like a group of football fans out there. I can't wait until Master Chief misses a penalty and a guy in a PlayStation t-shirt ends up getting bottled in the stands. Ori? Well, we all knew this was coming, but that doesn't make it any less awesome. Good show in there, I'll be picking that one up. Not on an Xbox, of course, because I own a PC, but still, thanks for the effort, Microsoft. Now what is this? Neo 2?
Like death is not your fate just yet.
I guess FromSoft's claim that their next game wouldn't be a Dark Souls game weren't complete lies, but damn close. It looks fucking great, of course, but that's par for the course. What's it called? Sekiro. I guess we're going to have to start calling the series Soulsbornero, which probably means something cool in Spanish. Who's this lad?
Please welcome, from Bethesda Game Studios, Todd Howard.
Don't you have your own conference? Don't blow your load here, mate. Space Marines! Please stand by for the Emperor! I mean, it's a Fallout game. They are what they are. Surprised we're getting yet another one of these before hearing anything about Elder Scrolls 6, though.
For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout,
they said it.
You must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself. Country roads, take me home, country roads. In Vault 76, our future begins.
Sounds like a boring ass game then. I kinda hoped we'd be leaving the place. Snowy game with indie boys singing at me. What's this then? Shoulda guessed. To be fair, this looks like a pretty unique little idea. Probably more of a movie than a game, but nonetheless, I can relate to a little boy who...
I always get picked last for the team at school, and they never throw the ball to me.
It's all about getting the jump on the enemy. No building is too high. 60 stories up, incoming! You gotta build up that raw power.
I'm sorry, is this fucking Terry Crews? Wait, I heard about this. It's Crackdown, right? Okay, that actually looks pretty fun. The first Crackdown was one of the most boring games I've ever played, but this might actually be okay. Still not played that. Maybe I should. Fuck, over already. They're going hard here.
And the skies rained missiles, and the ground burned to ash, and the seas boiled, and people turned into shadows.
And the voice actor tried way too hard.
Remember, most of the country has been destroyed or occupied. Even those who speak our language might be enemies.
Why, thank you, Sergeant Exposition. Care to tell me the name of your game, though? Some pretty hectic looking stuff here. Is this Wolfenstein or something? Oh, Metro. I hear those were good. I'm so out of the loop on shooty bang bang games, it's actually kind of painful. Oh look, the boss is back. Why does he even have the stage? You'd rather give the guy on the right a close-up, apparently. Oh wow, the guy's whipped out a second phone. 2 phones and an E3 ticket. He's doing alright for himself. Wait, sorry, what's going on? I wasn't listening. Oh, Kingdom Hearts. They're making it look good, but this series was never my thing. Clunky, hacky slashy combat with awkwardly shoehorned Disney cameos. I know half the internet is going to be moistening its panties over this though, so I'll try not to criticise it too hard. There's a lot of Frozen in here though, isn't there? Seems like they know how to hit that sweet, sweet 8-year-old demographic. Ah, Sea of Thieves. Is this game good yet? It's another one of those games that got the No Man's Sky treatment, so maybe 2 years from now it'll be worth looking into. Wait, is this the Sea of Sorrows developer? The goth look suits her. Come again. Oh, Battlefield 5. EA already showed us this. Show us something new.
Exclusive. World premiere.
More like it. Now I might be jumping the gun here, but this might be some sort of racing game. I approve of the choice of music though. betting it's not a Zero Dawn sequel. Here's Carboy.
A Forza Horizon 4, set in beautiful, historic Britain.
Set in a village in Devon, maybe?
Edinburgh.
There's no way that's Edinburgh. No one's stolen his tyres. I don't usually play racing games, but I might actually give this a go. Not out of any weird national pride or anything, but just because it's nice to see how my country would look if it stopped raining for 30 fucking seconds. Also, this is quite possibly the best looking game I've ever seen from a graphical standpoint. Other devs are gonna need to step the fuck up.
In Forza Horizon 4, you will live in a vast, beautiful world in which dynamic seasons change everything.
2 hours of content every 3 months? Sign me up. Oh, hello again, boss man. What are you gonna ramble about this time?
For you to have the best games on the world's most powerful console.
You know, except the PC.
I'm proud to introduce the creation of a brand new Microsoft studio.
Okay, whatever, I don't really care about your management reshuffle. Bring back the games.
They're bringing their open world expertise to an entirely new project.
That will be Fable, right? Still iffy on that one.
It's my personal honor to welcome Ninja Theory to Microsoft Studios.
Oh fuck, really? So much for the pioneers of the new AA market. R.I.P. good Ninja Theory games.
We Happy Few is nearing its full release to gamers everywhere.
That shit still isn't done. I kinda lost interest in it like 2 years ago. Fucking hell. Well, here's the trailer, I guess. Looks like there's some sort of story now, so maybe half a century of development time is what it needed to not just be some mediocre survival game. What's this now? Looks straight out of Last Generation. Oh wait, is it? Yeah, it is. Good on them for evolving past their niche, I guess. Still not gonna buy it though. Okay, I'm grooving to the cheesy J-pop, but this game is still fucking terrible. Scraping the barrel a bit now, Microsoft. Can you guys fuck off back to your own conferences? I'm gonna have to sit through all this twice. Well, I guess that answers my question vis-a-vis the barrel scraping. The Division's getting a sequel. Apparently burning large piles of money is just a fun pastime over at Ubisoft HQ. Man walks solemnly around with a gun. The game.
Hey, I see you. I'll be up in a sec. Kit, we gotta get you leveled up.
I see they still haven't learned not to do this stupid fake chatter. The internet's gonna enjoy itself with this one.
Let's check it out.
Great idea, let's just die.
I mean, if you want to. I'd hate to dissuade you from your true calling. Oh, so it's not just Big Phil running the whole company.
Xbox Game Pass, a way to give gamers the ultimate freedom to play.
I'm sure it's great and all, but I'm still not dropping $300 on your castrated PC, thanks. She goes on to say the words fast start about 30 times and announce another re-release of the classic Halo games. One guy really liked it. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and let this play because there's some cool looking indie titles in here. I've been waiting on Below, Ashen and Wargroove for a while, and there's a few new ones I've never heard in there too, so maybe check them out. Alright, next up. I'm pretty sure this isn't Lara Croft. I think the twist at the end of this game is that will be her weird butler killed her back in like 2004 and had her replaced with some other gutsy English girl.
We have to trust each other.
The face of trust, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, is this a sequel to the 2nd and 9th best games of all time? Guess not. It's not Skate either. Guess there's a new boy in town.
I was born 3 times, and I've met death 3 times.
Who are you? Sonic the Hedgehog? Fuck, that was a bad joke. Literally can't tell if this looks good or shit. Maybe both. Oh, it's that MMO. You got my hopes up for a second there.
We've known each other a long time.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Nothing gets through!
You never had this much trouble. You gonna make it through this?
They're demons! I've seen them with my own eyes! Red Grave is completely taken over!
Let us pray for mercy. This is a trial for them.
Oh, shit. Excuse me, I need to go unleash girlish screams into a pillow. What is this, like a reboot of the reboot? Oh, who cares, it's Devil May Cry. I'm actually more hyped for this than I am for the new FromSoft game. This audience are fucking shit.
DMC is back!
That is more like it.
This is the best game that he's ever made because we made it for you.
For me?
Our fans.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, that's cool. Not my sort of game, but people will love that that's getting more content. Well, that is just adorable. This looks more like a Zelda game than Breath of the Wild ever did. Maybe because, like all the best Zeldas, it's blatant furry bait. Oh, Phil. I don't dislike you or anything, but your face is weirdly punchable.
This community is the reason why we love premiering games here at E3. For the rest of our briefing, everything you show you will be world premiere games no one has seen before.
Okay, I'll take that back. For now. A Naruto game? Wait, and One Piece? And Dragon Ball Z. The shit. Kinda hard to tell what's going on through the wall of particle effects, but... Huh.
Please welcome narrative designer Chris Avalo.
Well, that trailer told us literally nothing, but this bloke might.
Everything in the game world can change based on your decisions.
Well, we've heard that before. Oh, he's actually got some footage.
After this, you will start seeing a significant change in the city, as access to the water supply allowed the peacekeepers to bring stability and develop the area.
Yeah, that's really not all that special. Thanks for trying, though. What's this? Have we slipped into the Devolver Digital conference by mistake? Oh shit! Good meme, good meme. I can honestly say with 100% certainty that nobody predicted that. Well, that was a surprise too. Mostly just because I forgot it existed though. That was a cute way to announce it. Don't think I didn't hear that Wilhelm scream though. Oh look, there's a girl one now. I thought you had to be built like a refrigerator and have balls like watermelons to be a character in this series. I'll be honest, I probably won't ever play that, but they made it look pretty cool.
In the entire history of Xbox, in the entire history of E3, in the entire history of our industry,
The entire history, eh Phil?
today we showcased more games than we ever have before. 50 games.
I mean, fair play. Sony and Nintendo are going to have to do a lot to top this.
In this significant moment, we are constantly challenging ourselves.
They'll probably be able to talk without having a stroke mid-sentence though.
Thanks, and have a great
Plot twist! I swear to God, if this is Watch Dogs, I'm going to palm my face right off. Oh, it's that thing that made everyone need a new pair of trousers a few years back. Are we gonna get to see how it actually plays now? I guess not. I'm going to consider that to be Watch Dogs 3 until further notice. So I was actually able to catch Bethesda live, which meant I got the honour of witnessing the pre-show. And just so you know, Bethesda, I will be charging you for those 15 minutes of my life that I'm never getting back. The show itself opened with a slightly out of season New Year's countdown, followed by a montage which looked like a building society advert from 2002.
We're not just living the dream, we're creating it.
Very uplifting, very motivational, very not a video game. Big Pete strode down the catwalk sporting this season's hottest threads to give us his hot take on the audience.
You look good.
And failed to keep a straight face while bigging up his company.
And it's your passion for games that drives us every day to strive for excellence.
He then went on to shove his head up his own arse while I sat there wondering which kitchen appliances he was planning to release Skyrim for. The first game was Rage 2 as presented by
Andrew WK.
For some reason. The audience were totally into it. Apparently your average hardcore video game nerd isn't exactly down with the party hard ethos. The guys actually presenting the game distracted me somewhat because I couldn't work out if the guy on the left was a dwarf or the guy on the right was a giant. Also there was some pretty impressive awkward silence going on.
Well, thank you, Tim. Yeah.
To be fair, I think the big man needed to spend a little bit of time translating everything from his native language of black metal growling.
God turned his back on humanity long ago.
Cliché!
The last ranger of this wasteland, and there's only one thing left to do!
Slowly walk forward in a range of biomes.
Keep your wits about you, Walker. The goon squad may look whimsical, laughable even, but believe me, behind their playful appearance, they are very, very dangerous.
Yeah, they look it.
It sings. Ruckus, ruckus, singing songs to the...
It mounts on the wall. It's motion sensor activated. It's the Ruckus the Crusher talking hack, and it can be yours wild and flat. Rage.
Well, that was the best thing in this trailer so far. Honestly, this game looks fine. It's made by id, and they know what they're doing when it comes to launching pieces of metal at stuff. However, I'm 3 conferences in and have seen so many shooters. If they wanted to wow us with what boils down to more of the same, they really should have gone first. Oh, I saw Elder Scrolls and got excited there for a second. Thanks for the blue balling, Bethesda. I vaguely recall them releasing a card game, but let's face it, MTG still exists, so what's the point? Oh, I saw Elder Scrolls and got excited there for a second. Thanks for the blue balling, Bethesda. I vaguely recall them releasing an MMO, but let's face it, WoW still exists, so what's the point?
We're over 11 million players now.
And each of them have played for an average of 25 whole minutes.
Thanks, everyone. See you in Tamriel.
Please come play with me. I'm so lonely. Okay, this has to be Doom. There he is, guys. Angry Demon Killy Boy himself. And there it is, a new Doom.
So we're back to announce Doom Eternal. An awesome, awesome new sequel to Doom.
How many times do I have to say awesome before my hypnosis techniques kick in?
Because our team will be debuting Doom Eternal at QuakeCon this August.
Oh, so nothing to show now then. Okay, well, still the most interesting thing we've seen so far. New Quake? Well, okay. Has anyone actually played Quake since 2002? Come on, Bethesda, stop with the padding. This bloke...
Can't stop, won't stop.
Talking about competitive Quake for some reason. This really isn't what we came for.
I'm gonna flip you like a table.
Oh, okay, well, maybe it was. Okay, so this was one of my games of the year last year, and there's a DLC coming which might be fun. What's at the end of the segment like this?
We're so excited. We can't wait to what?
To be fair, I had a spider about that size in my kitchen the other day and reacted in pretty much the same way. Next up, Wolfenstein, because apparently all Bethesda publishers these days is shooters. The last one is coming to Switch, and the new one is coming in general. This guy got a kick out of the title.
Blood pushes the story forward.
In other news, this guy's name is Jerk.
Hi.
Hi.
VR, virtual reality. VR.
Okay.
Oh, it's great to be back at E3.
I can imagine, Todd. It's been like 2 hours since we last saw you.
I think it's to see where we're putting Skyrim next.
Oh shit, they're becoming self-aware. We have to sit and watch this.
The Elder Scrolls speak of the past and the future. Now, Skyrim looks to the future, to its ultimate version.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
Now, Skyrim and life become one.
A mud crab scuttles towards you.
Fusroda!
I didn't catch that.
Fusroda!
I didn't quite catch that.
Fusroda!
Your shout echoes all the way to Sovngarde.
What happened?
Fusroda. That's the command for knocking things over.
Is there a command for picking shit up?
Haven't reached that level yet.
I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
Ooh.
The dragon unleashes fire breath on you.
Okay.
You have 7% health left.
Oh, shit. I drink a health potion.
You are out of health potions.
How many wheels of cheese do I have left?
473.
Okay, I eat all the cheese. I eat all of the cheese.
Hey, hun. Remember what the doctor said about dairy?
Yes. Right, yes, of course. You're the greatest. Thank you so much. I ate all of the cheese.
Introducing Skyrim, very special edition. Also coming soon to Etch-a-Sketch, Motorola Pagers, and your Samsung smart refrigerator.
Oh, that's cool.
Fair play, I chuckled at that. It's just a shame that it's probably actually true. Anyway, next up they rolled out the Fallout trailer yet again, so here it is at 8 times speed.
you a long, long time. Touching down brings me round again to find. I found mine, you think I am at home. Oh no, no, no. I'm a rockin' man, burning out of shoes I feel wrong.
I actually think I like it better that way. Oh, real big boy footage. Let's see what they got for us then.
Today is Reclamation Day.
Oh, finally! I feared you'd never wake up. Don't you remember? Time to leave the vault.
We have always wanted to tell that story of what it would be like for you and the other characters who were first to leave the vaults. But there is one big difference with this game. It's that each of those characters is a real person.
An MMO. I don't know why this surprised me. They did it to Elder Scrolls, so it makes sense that Fallout would get the same treatment. Well, there goes any interest I had in this game.
Open world, survival.
Wait, no, there goes any interest I had in this game. I was never a big Fallout fan anyway, but an open-world survival MMO is about as appealing to me as suicide by autoerotic asphyxiation. Which is to say, somewhat, but I'll probably regret doing it afterwards.
Like your friendly old neighbor Johnny. Rather than coming over to borrow a cup of sugar, he may now be coming over for murder.
Credit where it's due though, these instructional videos are pretty great. Oh, I saw Elder Scrolls and got excited for a second. Thanks for blueballing me there, Wait, this shit is actually a new Elder Scrolls game, but it's a mobile exclusive. I really have no words.
Yes, running on a phone. It really looks and plays incredible.
You know where it would look and play even more incredibly? Anywhere fucking else! What are you doing to me, Bethesda? Did I harm you in some way?
Blades is coming this fall for free. And you can pre-order it tonight.
It's coming for free, and you can pre-order it. I'm sure that makes sense to someone.
We have also been working on a brand new next-generation single-player game.
Oh?
Our first wholly original franchise in 25 years.
Oh? Well, that told us nothing, but I'm already more interested in it than in Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Blades.
But we're also building toward the game after that. And it's the one you keep asking about.
Fucking finally! And that right there is what's known as a mic drop. Shame it won't be coming until like 2023 or something.
Battle Royale F2W, yeah! What a play space, am I right? A play space that we believe is the future's future.
Shut your mouths, you miserable piece of human garbage! Shit! Let's get this nonsense started.
Okay, you know what? Devolver Digital's conference was like 20 minutes long and, much like last year's, fucking incredible. So, Honestly, you should probably just go watch that instead of listening to me talk about watching that, because it's going to be far more entertaining for you that way.
You stinking bug fuck shit minions.
God, I love this woman. Squeenix apparently didn't fancy footing the cost of the plane ticket, so instead they sat a group of blokes in some cupboards and had them introduce a set of trailers. I'm all for the idea of spectacle coming a distant second to the games, but for these guys the spectacle is so distant that you'd need spectacles to see it. Ha 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 ha, kill me. They led with the new Tomb Raider, which to be fair looks pretty satisfying. We got to see a guy attempt to mimic the Wilhelm scream as he got sucked out of a plane. And then the pointy-boobed treasure hunter turns merciless killer as she performs a series of increasingly nasty stealth kills. They made it look cool, but I imagine the spectacle somewhat flounders when you fuck one of those up and have to load your game and start again. We then saw an expansion for Final Fantasy XIV and something about a crossover with Monster Hunter. I have no idea how that would work, but it might be worth keeping an eye on. Next up, a pair of Frenchmen with such thick accents that their Japanese overlords decided they needed subtitles. They talked a bit more about that Life is Strange thing, but didn't really give us much to go on. The new Dragon Quest looked freaky because they tried to make it look a bit more realistic but still had the Akira Toriyama Down syndrome faces. They also used all the same voice actors as Ni no Kuni because apparently quaint British dialects are all the rage in RPGs these days.
While we live, none shall defeat you. Yep. We're all in this together.
Show us what you've got.
Honestly, from what little gameplay we saw, this didn't look bad. The blatant cash-in additions and the collab with the shitty Final Fantasy mobile game made me vomit a little in my mouth though. The next trailer was for something called Babylon's Fall by Platinum, and the devs apparently thought we'd rather have a history lesson than find out how the game actually played. We then got a new trailer for Octopath Traveler, which is apparently out in 2 days. The Switch's exclusive library really does just keep getting better and better. Just Cause 4's main selling point seems to be that it has weather. Since England kind of has the monopoly on weather, I've seen quite enough of it in my lifetime already, but, you know, you do you. Bloody hell, these graphics are good, aren't they? Oh wait, never mind. No clue what The Quiet Man is, but it looks like one of those live-action B-movie shit shows from the early 90s, so whether you think that's a good thing or not probably depends entirely on whether you believe in the idea of so bad it's good. And that's pretty much it, outside of a repeat of the Nier Automata and Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers we saw earlier. There's some good stuff in there, I guess, but it's weird that there was no mention of anything regarding Final Fantasy at a Square Enix conference. Honestly though, the steady descent into madness that is the last 15 years of that franchise could probably do with a pit stop anyway.
That's amazing. You can control ice.
Control it? No, all I ever do is hurt people.
Ubisoft opened with this. I'm not letting you get away without witnessing these two monumental fuck-ups ruining their one shot at proving themselves.
All right, everybody at home, are you ready? Yes, we're just gonna assume that they're ready.
Well, if you're ready for the biggest biggest show in gaming, then let's start the show.
Let's do it!
Poor guys. Back in your cage for another year. Anyway, after face-palming with the force of an industrial piledriver, I either suffered a concussion or I witnessed this. This is the Just Dance trailer, and as usual it's wonderfully weird. Honestly, Ubisoft's conferences tend to be all downhill after these spectacles. This time though, not so much.
Engineering to officers, we are dead in the water. I repeat.
Main engines are cursed. Nox, come in. What have we got on the scanners?
Jack shit. Nada. Hey, wait. I see something. 3 o'clock starboard. It's massive. Like, get back here, Shani! Hold off!
Lock down the bacon. Give me auxiliary engines. Deploy shields and bring up out now! Brace yourselves! Gods protect us.
I didn't even like the first BG&E, but hot damn, this looks cool.
And all of these legendary characters will be playing a major role in our prequel.
Oh great, now I won't actually have to go back and play through the first one in preparation. These guys thought of everything. So apparently they're asking the fans to design half the game for them, which is an odd choice. It looks like a pretty large-scale idea though, a massive co-op action RPG with space exploration and shit. It honestly sounds like it's being overhyped, so keep expectations in check, but I'm expecting something, you know, pretty good from this at least.
Thanks everyone, have a great E3.
Or at least better than middle-aged game developers flashing the devil horns at a hall full of nerds.
And I'm excited to announce today that the Rainbow Six Siege community is now 35 million players.
Where do they get these numbers? Just because someone played the game once doesn't make them a cornerstone of the community. But hey, you keep polishing your bellend, dude.
Will once again be the pinnacle of Rainbow Six, taking place in Montreal in February 2019.
So are you going to announce something or what?
Today I'm excited to unveil a sneak peek at an upcoming documentary.
Documentary. Excuse me while I zone out and think about BG&E some more. Funny pig man. What the fuck is this? Why is video game development slowly morphing into pro wrestling? Poor podium. It was only set up like 30 seconds ago. This dude is, of course, talking about Trials. I've never played these games because they look like a Flash game I played in 2003 with HD graphics, but you gotta give this guy points for the presentation of it. This man in his girlfriend's denim jacket then came out to talk about The Division 2. However, I'd seen enough voice actors pretending to play video games for a while, so I went off and got myself a cup of tea instead. I didn't have any milk, which was disappointing, but it was nice to be able to stretch my legs after sitting down watching these conferences for so long, you know?
This is history's defining moment.
Oh. Oh. That is a fucking great choice of music though. Congrats to Zealanada for making it Ubisoft big. Next up, this guy came out to introduce some Donkey Kong music, but I think he was slowly morphing into a robot.
So we also started a year ago to work on a brand new adventure.
The Donkey Kong thing was a nice spectacle, and Mario X Rabbids DLC is very welcome. But the true highlight came when the guy forgot to turn off his mic when he left the stage.
Changes every day, every second's a change.
After seeing Sea of Thieves and in the wake of Black Wake, pirates seem to be the in thing. Something called Skull and Bones is a coming, which seemed pretty flashy, although, much like those other piracy games, it looked like it would get old fast. Transference was up next, for which they rolled out Frodo Baggins himself. Apparently his film company is behind the narrative elements of the game, which speaks volumes, and the game looks gloriously creepy. It's apparently a VR game, which is a shame for those of us who don't have money to throw down that particular sinkhole, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. So I don't know what this is, but it looks like No Man's Sky got a story mode and decided to cash in 5 years too late on the Skylanders hype. Not something I'm bothered about, but it looks like a neat new way to separate parents of 10-year-olds from their money.
Let's rock and roll, boys!
Wait, what the actual shit? It's so weird that Ubisoft and Nintendo are like best bros now. Oh well, they can't possibly do any worse with the Star Fox franchise than Nintendo have done in the past few years.
Mr. Miyamoto!
Quiet, Joe, he'll hear you. So after that weirdness, they dragged out the poorly embalmed husk of For Honor.
We are giving away the PC Starter Edition on Uplay. Download it this week on PC, and it's yours for free.
Well, we all saw that coming. Honestly surprised it took so long.
We are now ready to expand our world.
Didn't expect that, though. Mufasa? Oh, Three Kingdoms. Well, that's pretty cool. I guess Ubisoft is stepping into Tecmo Koei's shoes ever since that particular developer shat down their leg and went for a cry in the cupboard.
Hi everyone, I'm Delphine Dosset, brand director on The Crew 2. In just a few days, freedom will be yours.
I'm finally going to be allowed out of the basement?
Freedom to get your hands on your dream car.
Oh well. This is The Crew 2. It's a racing game with planes and boats and shit. Might be fun, I guess. But seriously, get me out of this basement. I haven't seen the sun in 8 months and I think I have scurvy. So Ass Creed is coming to Greece now. I'm sure it will be buggy as fuck and everyone will complain about how the series has been getting progressively worse with every installment, but it will still inexplicably sell more copies than there are people on the planet. And that pretty much rounded it off. Everyone came out to give themselves one last round of applause, and then we were abruptly in the post-show, at which point I moved on to Sony because The Division 2 showed up again, and I just can't keep doing this to myself. Sony's conference opened with these little dudes fucking around on the stage for what felt like a week. Honestly, after a while, Stockholm Syndrome kinda set in, and I was hoping this was all Sony were bringing to E3 in some attempt to one-up Devolver Digital in the not giving a shit stakes. Eventually, though, we got an abrupt cut to black, followed by Sean here striding out onto the stage of what I'm pretty sure was a converted barn in Alabama. His repeated references to, and his, got just a little bit creepy. Come to the cult of PlayStation and give your souls over to the great Lord Sonisus.
We see gaming as a vocation. It's a calling. It's what we do. It's what we have to do.
Or our shareholders will break our kneecaps. Again. To reinforce the hillbilly vibe, they brought out an admittedly very talented banjo player. I had to wonder how long it'll be before Sean came back out dressed as a preacher and demanded that the audience start eating one another. This, of course, was all building up to The Last of Us 2. Rather than start with gameplay, they showed us some lesbians. I know I can kind of feel myself slipping dangerously to the alt-right as I say this, but why does every game have lesbians in it now? Is it an attempt to be inclusive, or an attempt to give 14-year-old boys a raging stiffy? Anyway, the footage came. It was practically identical to the Tomb Raider footage from Square's conference. Feisty girl with a bow and arrows kills bad men in nasty ways. Yawn. The only real difference was that she got spotted by a group of stormtroopers who went on to lose her in 4 square feet of knee-high grass. Sid here then tried to subliminally remind us that he's a human, presumably necessary because of that grin. He went on to tell us that the latest COD game is getting maps from a COD game released like 3 years ago, but only if you pre-order the COD game that's coming up next. He then reminded us that Days Gone is a thing, and mentioned games called Twin Mirror, Ghost Giant and Beat Saber, which are all VR games. To be fair, it's nice that they're so dedicated to VR. Maybe if they keep at it, they'll make something that doesn't play like shovelware garbage one day. Before returning us to the Church of the Machine God for the rest of the big boy announcements, Sid gave us another very classy Destiny 2 trailer, which did nothing to make me want to go back to that aggressive scam of a game. Another slightly racist musical interlude later, and we get a look at something called Ghost of Tsushima. Bit awkward for them that From are bringing out a similar style of game at the same time. I get the feeling that might hurt their sales just a little bit. The game looks like Oriental Assassin's Creed, so if you like that franchise, maybe check this out. It has nice art direction at least. Control, made by 505 Games, dropped an intentionally obtuse trailer, which could have come from the brain of Kojima for all I know. I'm not sure they even know what their game is yet, but they just want to throw something to the dogs. Next, a poor mouse gets squished by a falling shelving unit. Turns out it's a remake of Resident Evil 2, which got me a little bit hyped. They've clearly taken some liberties with the gameplay, but after Resi 7 I've grown a little bit of faith in this franchise again. Trover Saves the Universe is a game by the guy behind Rick and Morty, in case you couldn't tell.
Oh my god, somebody call 711, because that's the emergency dial number for this, in this weird part of the galaxy, because this is a sci-fi based thing. Help! He's got electrocuted!
I'm not quite sure if we didn't get to see very much of it, or if my IQ simply just wasn't high enough to comprehend the trailer. Next was Kingdom Hearts, for the third time. Different trailer this time at least. It has Jack Sparrow in it, which would have been a big thing 10 years ago. Shame this game's been in development hell since most of its fanbase were young enough to actually play it. Oh.
Sam Porter preaches.
Well, of course, the baby in the vagina game is Death Stranding. Are we going to actually find out what this game is? Norman Reedus goes for a stroll? No. No, 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 no. Oh. Oh. Okay, so it's survival horror, I guess? Either that or Kojima just managed to sell everyone a big budget walking simulator, which, you know, fair play to him. Team Ninja provided E3's third samurai action RPG. Yep, Neo 2 actually was a thing. This is pretty much all we saw of it.
Everyone just quietly go back into your cells and lock the door behind you, okay? Please?
Spidey's new game looked pretty slick, but, you know, most of this gameplay clearly comprised of just mashing one button. The web swinging looks pretty fluid though, so there's that. It's still probably a no-buy for me, but as superhero games go, this looks closer to Arkham Asylum than Superman 64. Finally, back to Sid, who had one more announcement for us. Yep, From are doing something else, and apparently it's a VR game.
Aren't you excited? You're going to be a fairy. And live in the world where time stands still. Where nobody can see what you're up to ever again.
Yeah, I call that living alone. This all looks very twee for From. Looks like they're taking this opportunity to try new things after all. Whatever it is, I'm on board. Just hope you can play it without a TV strapped to your face. And that seemed to be the lot. These lads chatted shit for a while, but there wasn't much more to see. So this just left us with one more conference, and it was quite probably the one with the most hype of them all. Nintendo's conference, if that's what you want to call it, defied all expectations by opening with a PEGI 18 logo. The preceding game looked like Zone of the Enders, if Zone of the Enders didn't control like a snail in a bucket of molasses tied to a firework. That wasn't edited, by the way. The title screen really did pop up that abruptly. Next up was some weeaboo garbage. Seriously, this game couldn't be more anime if one of the characters was a pair of sentient schoolgirl panties. Reggie then showed up looking weirdly like he was melting before our eyes. He introduced the Pokemon Let's Go games and desperately tried to lend credence to that stupid Pokeball peripheral. I do like the look of the games, but that thing just seems next level pointless. Following that, we saw some actors pretend to play Mario Party. Even they couldn't work out how to make this stupid setup look feasible.
Okay.
You gotta change it up though.
That's gonna go too fast. Let's do it this way.
We need to have like some angles.
Okay. That looks good.
The game itself looked pretty much how you'd expect it to look. I don't think I have enough friends to make it worthwhile though. Next up was the new Fire Emblem game. I like SRPGs, but I never really got into Femblem. Maybe this might be a good introduction? The large-scale battle animations are a pretty nice touch. As per the leaks from last week, Fortnite got announced for Switch, which makes logical sense, but if you own a PC then why would you bother? It was amusing to hear Reggie pretend to play it though.
I can't wait to drop off the battle bus and meet some of you on the battlefield in Fortnite.
Overcooked 2 is a thing, but since I never played the first one I couldn't comment. Killer Queen Black is another thing that I have no clue about, but actually looks like it might be fun if it's cheap enough. Hollow Knight would be neat on the Switch. I might pick it up again somewhere down the line. Wow, that was 3 honest opinions without any sarcastic bullshit, so let's just laugh at this guy's top hat for a second. Octopath Traveler was brought up again, and I realised it's actually coming on July the 13th, and that I'm a fucking moron. Now, here's another rapid fire set of upcoming games which you might want to watch if you own a Switch. Not a bad set of announcements, to be fair. It's mostly games that have existed on other systems for years, but it's nice to see the Switch's library expand regardless. Oh, here we go, guys. They provided a handy list of all the new characters appearing in Smash. I'll have that running on fast forward in the background as I talk. The most interesting thing to mention is that all of the previous characters are returning, including Snake and Ice Climbers, as well as less popular choices like Dr. Mario and Dark Pit. But hey, more characters is always a good thing in my books. The new characters are the previously announced Inkling, Peach Clone Daisy, and a long-awaited fan favourite in Ridley. There were also some technical changes for the hardcore fans, like competitive versions of every stage, changes to air dodging, and indicators for special resources, and for the current winner. And I realised that for people with no interest in Smash, all this was very dry and boring stuff, so here's a joke. What do you call a gamer with no interest in Smash Brothers? A fucking loser. Anyway, that rounds off my opinions on this year's E3. I know people like to pick winners, so I'll say this. In terms of best announcements, Microsoft won. In terms of actually selling their console, Nintendo won. In terms of being Devolver Digital, Devolver Digital won. But deep down, I believe we're all winners, because now this fucking shit show of hype and unrestrained speculation is over, and we can all go back to our lives safe in the knowledge that no one is going to try too hard to sell us games we don't really want or need for at least another year. And with that in mind, I leave you with these words. Why the fuck is Activision publishing Sekiro? For fuck's sake, it's nothing sacred. Fucking E3 fucking ruined my life. I don't even care. I don't even care about The Division. Who does? Nobody. That's fucking him. And Bomberman. Bomberman still hasn't been announced for Smash, and that's just fucking ridiculous at this point. Everybody wants Bomberman. And I don't even know what to say about that BG&E trailer. It didn't even show a shit. Why didn't it show a shit? I can't